I'm Neil Diamond Cutter. Yeah, I'm drinking a Moe's. We doing it dirty down here, Australian style. Yeah.
All right, everybody, taking time out before we get this show started. I want to thank Reaper Apparel for having Drinkin' Mo's be a brand ambassador for their clothing line. They got good stuff. They got t-shirts, they got hoodies, they got beanies, they got lots of great stuff, encouraging everybody to break out of their comfort zone, live their best self, and hey, it's something I try to live every day. Now, be sure when you go and you're filling out your order, use the code Drinkin' at Moe's, get 10% off, and the link and the code will both be in the description. Let's fucking go. All right, everybody, welcome Drinkin' at Moe's. Big Mo here. You know the drill by now. YouTube, like, subscribe, comment, share, all that good stuff because it helps with that pain in the ass YouTube algorithm where most places you can find your audio podcast too. Today, I'm excited to have with me. He's got a pretty big month coming up here, especially with H2O. Neil Diamond Cutter, how you doing?
Oh, pretty good, man. Just enjoying some well-needed rest time off. You know.
Oh yeah, no. With the schedule, a lot of your fellow wrestlers, whether it be national TV or independent, with the schedule you guys keep, yeah, a little time to rest up every now and then definitely helps, I would imagine.
Yeah, jet lag's a bitch. I live right in the middle of the country, so like no matter which way I go, I either got to drive a piss long way or I got to hop on a plane, and those aren't cheap.
Yeah, I live in Omaha, so
yeah, you have some kind of idea what I mean.
Yeah, no, I definitely do, and especially with the world of deathmatch wrestling, it seems like all of the big places for that are either West Coast or mostly over East Coast. It doesn't seem like there's that big of a selection for us in the middle of the country. The only one I can think of, I'm guessing, is getting shut down because the promoter retired. Yeah, Mid-Death Pro. Carver retired.
Really?
Yeah.
That's weird. Any reason why?
I think injuries piled up and it just got to the point where it just from my understanding of it, I know the only one of those shows I ever actually got to go to, I actually won a raffle for an event used item signed by everybody and didn't know it until he walked up to me afterwards, and it was half a door.
Mm-hmm.
So I got it propped up here next to my collection shelf. First time my wife saw it, there's still a blood spot on there. And she's like, "Is that blood?" And I'm like, "Yeah."
Gotta love disinfectant spray.
Yeah.
That's all you need, and that settles her down. Like, don't worry, I'm not touching it, and here's some spray just to show you. Like, see, you're good.
Yep.
I usually write on people's shit like clone me. Just be stupid, because I'm like, you don't have the technology to do that, but that'd be funny.
That would be pretty damn funny. Now, first thing I like to start off with everybody with is what got you started as a fan, and then what got you started, when you finally decided to make the leap into the business.
Both happened in the same match, and that was the first time I ever saw Glacier. Like, just that caught me as far as like a character. Like, I loved Mortal Kombat. I love violent stuff. And like, he just, I think 8 or 9 year old kid, like that was cool, you know.
Oh yeah.
And just to see the progression of everything as everything went, like I think the one of the next matches I saw was like Jericho versus Rey Mysterio or something on some random
Oh,
Nitro, and like
gotcha.
I think he may have been feuding with Delenko at the time,
Mm,
but it was just really funny to see him and his size, and he actually inspired me to actually get in the ring and like try to do this, you
oh,
know, and just things escalated. And the way I am, used to love horror movies and stuff like
mm,
that, and kind of gory, and it kind of just led its natural progression as far as companies go and seeing like how violent things can be.
oh yeah. No, if I can, that makes sense because I've been lucky enough to, excuse me, talk with a bunch of people in death matches. I have a few items from some of the people. I got a wrestling buddy from John Wayne Murdoch up there. Uh, I my first one was actually Alex Cologne, and I actually have signed ring worn kick pads of his.
Oh yeah,
So the some of them that I've been able to talk to, they have that love of spooky horror movies and that stuff. I
yeah,
depending on what type, because there's all sorts of horror movies out there. I'm more of like the slasher guy, like Michael Myers, Jason, and that sort of stuff. The demonic stuff, that stuff, no, that stuff scares the shit out of me.
So I don't know, just when it gets to a certain level of like gruesome, I'm like, this doesn't do nothing. Like all it does is like legit make me like with me getting older, just as time goes on, like I just don't like looking at certain things. I've seen too much in my life to be like, I don't really care to look at that. Like I'm okay. Like let's keep the good times going and let's laugh. Let's not.
Oh, oh yeah. Nope.
I'm cool with the old school slasher films, and I'm a '90s kid, so I grew up with all the Jasons and Freddy Krueger, Michael Myers, Pinhead, all those guys.
Oh
But
yeah.
like once you get into snuff film kind of stuff where it's like Hostel and Green Hell and stuff, I'm like,
Oh
I've seen Faces of Death. I'm good.
yeah. No, that yeah. I can agree with you there. I'm definitely more, the like I said, the Jason, Michael Myers, that sort of thing,
Yeah, those are
because
fun kind of films because they're not like too serious, for the
yeah,
most part. Same with
yeah,
Freddy or Michael Myers. Like at some point, it becomes like, well, what's really going on here? Like, you
yeah,
know,
yeah, definitely some of the stuff is just like you mentioned, some of the ones you were talking about. Yeah, that stuff just a little like, okay, I'm gonna turn the channel.
yeah, yeah. Like I already have fucked up thoughts about the world and shit when I'm trying to go to sleep. I don't even think about Hostel too.
Yeah, that one was messed up. But one thing that I was curious when doing my homework for the episode is I noticed some Australia stuff, and Australia seems to be kind of emerging a little bit more as of late in when it comes to death matches. I've seen a lot more of it lately
Mm,
because when you think of meccas of death match wrestling, it's you think of like Japan and some of the crazy shit they pulled off there, or some of the stuff out east with CZW, GCW's pulled off some crazy shit,
yeah.
and then you know some of the stuff that I've seen online with Australia's kind of getting up there and being pretty wild lately.
Yeah, they I got a funny story about them. So we did
Okay,
an
yeah.
Aussie shitstorm death match with them,
Mm,
and like it was
that
me and
that was
me and
actually where I was wanting to go
go
because I
to. All
saw
right,
about
cool. All right, so it's me versus James Hartness. And James is fucking funny. He's such an emo kid. Like going to Australia was like going back in time a little bit as far as people's personalities. Like I felt like I was back in high school and everyone was emo.
that.
Like just everyone's just kind of down on themselves a little bit. I'm just like, why is everyone so negative here? Like, stop it. You're all beautiful people. Stop it. You know. And like I told or Joel asked me what I wanted, and I was like, "Wasn't doorknobs one of the things that you did when you were here?" And he's like, "Yeah, but I did that as the joke towards Akira." And I'm like, "No, I want a whole round for shitstorm, just doorknobs." And he's like, "Mate, that's crazy." And I'm like, "I know, it's a shitstorm. Like I'm coming to make a point, man. Like I'll find a way to make it work. Like the doorknobs. No, they didn't get doorknobs. They just ended up getting like rocks. And they're like,
Oh,
but there's rocks. The commentary team was really funny because they were like, uh, but there's rocks all around the world. He's like, yeah, but these are Australian rocks. They're native to here. And I was like, that's such a great cover.
that's pretty wild because that the name of that match was something that piqued my curiosity because oftentimes I've seen when looking up death match footage, some of the names of these things, it's like, how the hell do you come up with that?
Well, like the shitstorm I've been doing for a few years now, and like I just find people that want to do them, and I'm like, all right, let's do a shitstorm. And like usually at H2O, I'd have done like four of them now. H2O, like people look at me like, man, you're doing a shitstorm. I'm like, yeah, sorry, because they know I'm gonna make a complete another mess out of the ring. When we did the tag team one, you saw how messy that ring was. Like we're sliding around because there was so much shit in there. Hence why it's a shitstorm. It's just nothing but shit just everywhere. And I always tell everyone at H2O like, sorry guys, I'm having a shitstorm. Sorry, you know. So it's funny because they just laugh at me like, "That's your rib, isn't it?" And I'm like, not intentionally, but yeah, it's pretty good rib, isn't
Yeah, no, that was pretty wild. I know, you know, before we get into H2O, you kind of the whole going along with the shitstorm sort of thing. The first ever what I call legit death match, and not one of those, it's like basically a hardcore match that just gets the name death match slapped on it. Kind of like a
it? Yeah.
lot of what some of the Texas death matches that AEW puts on. I love AEW, but that's the one part that gets me there. But the first one that I ever actually got to see was actually at Sammy Callahan's promotion, Wrestling Revolver, and it was Jake Chris versus Joel Bateman, and it followed a multi-person Monsters Ball match, so there was already shit all over.
Yeah, yeah, debris.
Yeah, and they were getting ready to clean it up. Jake rolls in, and is like, "Fuck it, leave it, let's go." And then they just add more
Jake's ready to
throughout.
go home. Jake's ready to go home to his shower.
And man, it. I have a category in here where a little preview. I ask about some crazy moments in wrestling for you. One that I witnessed was actually in that match, and it was the ending where they took four metal folding chairs, bridged two panes of glass, and then Bobby, that's with Jake there, he rolls in, and I'm like, what the hell is he doing? He pulls out a thing of lighter fluid, and they light the glass on fire.
Yeah.
So that was my
Man,
that
just
was my
another day in the
introduction
office for
to.
us.
Hmm?
Welcome to death matches.
That was my introduction, my first one I ever got to witness live.
Just knowing the type of talent that Sammy brings in, I would love to go and do some shit with Revolver.
That
I
that
think
would
it'd
be
be pretty
epic.
memorable.
That would be epic because yeah, they do bring in a lot of great talent. Hell, this last this last weekend, I believe it was this last weekend at one of their Ohio shows, their Dayton, Ohio shows. Alex Colon and RSP Ricky Shane Page won the tag titles.
Uh, I don't follow indie wrestling anymore. Like I haven't
Well,
followed it in a while. Like when I take my breaks and rest and stuff, like I take it for me. So I try to like if a match comes out or whatever, like I'll rewatch a match or something like that. But I
yeah,
try to stay kind of out of wrestling.
No, and
So
with the way a lot of wrestling can be, I can understand that because it can get kind of crazy out there. But I
um,
bring up those two winning the tag titles there because with talking about the talent that Sammy brings in there, and talking about stuff that could potentially be pretty epic. Figure mixing it up with hell, either one of those two, would be pretty damn epic.
yeah, I've always wanted to fight Clone at a death match, and like at Slave of Death this year, I was like, Pussy Clone doesn't want to do a death match with Neil Cutter. What a bitch, and just giving him shit, and he's being nice because it's my birthday. He's like, God damn it, you're avoiding me, and I'm like, no, you're avoiding me, bitch. I'm like, no, Mister Best in the World, blah, da 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 da. He's giving a shit about his popularity. Fucking just normal ribbing stuff.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
but yeah, like I would definitely like to face him. I faced Ricky at the 2018 King of Death in a triple
Oh
threat.
yeah. I
So
think I remember seeing that one.
yeah, I was saying that one was really good because I got to show off like my high flying stuff. Ricky did my tilt-a-whirl fucking Russian leg sweep like really good on a shopping cart.
Oof.
So John
Yeah.
Calvin or JC Rodden didn't kill me. He tombstone me and knocked me out, but he didn't kill me. So
Yeah. And going back into H2O, they got a pretty big weekend coming up here towards the end of the month. As of well, excuse me. I love my Dr. Pepper, but it gives me the burps like crazy.
yeah, me too,
But
brother. I drink it like
oh
water. If
yeah.
you ask anyone in wrestling, there's only three things to sustain me: cigarettes, soda, and marijuana.
But as we
I
were
don't need
saying,
food.
yeah. So as we were saying, they got a big weekend coming up. Two shows in the weekend, and one of them being Matt Tremont's deathmatch tournament, which you've been announced for. Which Matt Tremont's tournament's turning out to be one of like the big deathmatch tournaments of the year, and there's been quite a bit of talent that's been announced for that so far.
Yeah, I think all 16 have been announced. Yeah,
You,
because
you
Mickey
know,
Knuckles was the last one.
yeah, I was wanting to say, yeah, she just got announced. So yeah, I think the whole field has probably been announced.
The
But
only
yeah,
one that kind of threw me off was Tim Dunst. I was like, what the fuck is Tim coming for? Like, what? What? That's left
yeah,
field.
yeah,
Deathmatch tournament? I don't remember Tim doing a whole lot of death matches, but I guess he has. So my memory
yes,
slips on him sometimes.
yeah. Hell, I know my memory sometimes. I've had trouble remembering what the hell I had for lunch. So I mean,
Right? Some days you're just busy.
no, most definitely. So what are you looking forward to with that tournament this year?
Anytime I go up, I'm just happy to face like some of the H2O kids. Like I'd like Bradley or Ross. Like give me a challenge, give me a big dude. I want to beat the fuck out of a big guy. I
I've
got
had
little man
both of them
syndrome,
on.
so oh cool, very cool. And they
Yeah,
both jerks. They beat up Matt, they're jerks. They're the only
they,
ones out of that like collective group that I haven't like gotten a chance to whoop their ass. So I don't have a tag partner, and they're a little big for little old me.
it,
I don't know. I
it,
might have to get the frying pan.
yeah, Ross is he's a pretty big dude. I
Dude, they're
remember getting
both
to
fucking
talk to him.
huge.
Oh yeah,
They're
they're
both
both
massive
big.
men.
Oh, most definitely.
I could
And
take them though.
yeah. Now, I've been lucky enough as of late, and I got a few more in the coming month or so of getting talk with a bunch of the H2O talent. I know here, I think I wanted to say it's the week of that big H2O weekend. I actually got Leroy Robinson and TJ Reno. I got their episodes getting released.
Saying,
So I
ask what are you saying? Will this come out before
th- th-
Leroy's?
This will be out after.
After? Okay. I was gonna say I got a few questions for you to give them, just to give them shit, but I don't want to say
Yeah,
them if you already talked to them.
yeah, yeah. I already did those ones. It was, oh god, I'm trying to even remember when the hell that was. I've talked to so many people as of late. I If nobody cancels in November on me, I only need to schedule one more for December, and I will have reached my 200th episode.
Oh, nice. You just started this year?
God, it's been a little over a year. I'm approaching year two.
Oh, okay. It's impressive. And that's a lot of interviews.
Yeah, yeah. There's been some. I know next month there's at least 1 week where I have one a day, Monday through Friday, and I think there's not a week next month where I don't have one scheduled. That I don't have at least three scheduled in the week, Monday through Friday.
I got you.
So yeah,
Saying, yeah,
I
I
try to.
just the only thing I got left this year is this October weekend for H2O, and then my UK trip, and then I'm done for the year. Like I don't know if I'm doing anything for December. Just waiting to see what people say.
Hey, nothing wrong with that, because not only with the big H2O weekend, not only are you in the tournament, but you're also in, I believe it's, I might have mispronounced it one of the last times I talked about this show. I think Bound by Blood, the day after the deathmatch tournament. You got
That's
a
the day before.
day before. Okay, I
Yeah,
got the two mixed up, but I
Bound
knew it
by
was
Blood.
one. Yeah, Bound by Blood. You got to match on that one too.
Gotta bounce that bound. Gotta bounce that bound,
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't remember if they announced my match or not for
I
that.
think they just did like a day or two ago.
Yeah, like I think so.
I want to say
Saying,
it was Declan Grant, maybe.
yeah, then they announced it. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I don't know what our stipulation is, but whatever, it don't matter to me. I'll turn it into a death match regardless. I
I
did
love
that
it.
to Leroy, so
Oh yeah,
so
I
he had
love
no
it.
fucking clue what was about to happen to him, and I was just like, Man, this dude, he's
He
about to get
mentioned
fucked.
some stuff to me about that.
Uh-oh. Oh yeah, he talking on me.
No, he wasn't talking shit. It was all good, but it was
Man, that
some
dude
of
cold clocked me with his forearm, dick.
the. He just remembered some of the stuff. He was definitely caught off guard.
Oh yeah, saying headbutts are a bitch,
Oh
especially when you
God.
have a hard head like me and you don't care what happens to your brain. Like, I'll fuck someone up, just whack.
Oh man. Like, speaking of headbutts in wrestling, I remember outside H2O, I remember one of the first New Japan shows I ever watched. Believe I forget who one of the guys was, but the other one was Tomohiro Ishii, and I remember it was a headbutt, and like you could literally hear the bone on bone just smack, and I'm like, God damn!
There's a few of them with Brian Danielson and Nigel McGuinness where you just hear the
Mm.
crack. It's just nasty. I was not a big fan of like just in general. Like I don't mind headshots. Like I'll take an unprotected headshot, but like I'll probably have my arm up. Probably not this one anymore since it got broke, but I'll put the other one up now. So that took me a while to get used to, but
Yeah,
again, but I'll take a chair shot. It just depends on how they're gonna hit me. Like if they tell me that they're gonna do a certain thing and have it open up, like okay, I trust you. I don't
yeah,
hit people like hard with like super hard objects. I don't want to jar their spine. I'm not trying to make people paraplegics.
yeah. That would be a little rough. Now you kind of mentioned this goes along the line of my next question I had in my notes here. You kind of mentioned some of the stuff you have next. You had a UK trip coming up. What?
Yeah.
Here, talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I'm going out for Bleeding's Gum and like opening show. I don't know what they're called. Inaugural show, I guess.
Okay.
Um, I got a four-way with Danny Darko, Big Joe, and Michael Caden.
Ooh,
So I still gotta do a promo for that, and I'm just gonna act like a lunatic.
I
So
like it. I like it.
yeah.
I, I
Uh,
love some of those promos from lots of people where you're just like, God dang, that guy's nuts.
it's just funny because I've heard people bitch about like doing the selfie promos, and I'm like, I'm the only person who does that anymore. Like now I just think it's personal. If anyone says it from now on, I'm just gonna be like, that's a personal shot at me, man. Like, come on, I'm just a poor guy with no friends. You leave me alone.
Now, I have two categories here that I kind of like to round stuff off with. One's a name game where I try to theme it towards the guest, and these ones, at least from the match listings I saw when I was doing my homework, these are each people that you've shared a ring with, or at least shared a locker room with. And coincidentally, the first three are each former guests of the show.
Okay, let's do this.
And you give me first thoughts when you hear the name. That basically how this category works.
All right.
First one, the Duke of Hardcore, John Wayne Murdoch.
Fucking hippie. Fucking loves his rabbits, loves his little guinea pigs. You know, like it's super cute. I love John.
Oh yeah, I got
Fucking,
no.
I've done a lot of like goofy, brutal shit with John, and yeah, yeah, John's a good dude. I'm very happy for him and the path that he's been taking with his career. Like, good for him. Like, that's
Oh
awesome.
yeah, oh most definitely. He's definitely a machine with the schedule that he keeps. That's for sure. I know it
Yeah,
took. I mean, there was also some personal stuff with me when it came to getting him on the podcast, but it took me damn near a year, but we finally got it done.
yeah, dude. John's so busy. Like, if he's not doing wrestling stuff, he's doing family stuff.
Yeah,
You know.
and yeah, there was at least one time we had to reschedule because of a family thing. I'm like, dude, family first. Don't even
Yeah,
worry.
exactly.
Ne- Next up, this guy was an entertaining talk for me. Madman Pondo.
Such a jolly person. I love Pam Pondo. Like, it was so funny. One day, we're just sitting in a locker room, and he looks over. He's like, Neil, how long you been working? I told him. And he's like, how long have we known each other? He's like, I think since this day, I think. And my buddy Lenny was just happened to be at the same show. And he looked over and he's like, we met him at this show because that was the first time I worked him. I was like, okay, cool. You know, and Pondo's like, we've gone this long and we've never worked. I'm like, I know. Weird, right?
Yeah.
He's like, you never tried to pitch it? I'm like, believe me, I've pitched it all kinds of different places. Question is, why didn't you, big guy, Mr. Superstar? You know, he's kind of turning on him. And he just like, God damn it. And then eventually he came up to me at the circus show and he was like, looks like we finally get our match. I'm like, yeah, look at that. Surprise, surprise. You know, like yeah, just poking fun at each other. I love fucking
Oh
Pondo.
yeah.
He's
Oh yeah. Like
super fun, always positive attitude. You know, I've never really seen him like pissed off.
yeah,
So
I can say the same. I had plenty of great interactions with him getting to, do the show, and it was definitely an entertaining talk for sure.
yeah, he's a real interesting guy. He's like a man with 1,000 stories.
Oh, most definitely, and I got to hear quite a few of them. Next up, this guy was one of the more recent guests of the show, Low Life Louie.
Yeah, brother. Don't worry, I got this. Like Louis, like he just brings a smile to my face every time he talks. Hey Neil, how you doing, brother? Like just such a good dude. Fucking always fucking drinking, always got a loco in his hand. Like
With
the
a four
dude's just a
loco.
beast. I'm surprised he hasn't given me shit about the deathmatch down under tournament yet because there was a dildo involved. So yeah, I'm surprised I haven't. Well, he does. I don't think he watches wrestling like some people do. So I should
Yeah,
ask his son about it. His son probably watched it. He's probably gonna be like,
possibly.
Neil, you got to face my dad. No, like it doesn't mean there's gonna be a bunch of dicks there. Like I'm a serious wrestler guy.
That's awesome. You know what? I think I actually ended up here at least hearing something about that moment. I'm like, oh God, really?
Yeah, yeah, it's pretty funny. The whole crowd in Australia, fucking, they all, as soon as it all happened, like they just instantly started cheering for it. I was like, hell yeah, this works.
That's when you know you got them.
Yep. I was like, I can win this. It doesn't matter if they're a tag team or not.
Yep.
So,
Now, last but not least for this category, this person has not been on the show. I would not turn them down. Sage Sin.
sweetheart, like I've known her for a long time. Uh, like her and her husband like became like pretty much my only wrestling friends when I lived out in Phoenix. And like they would always bring me out and have me, treat me with the proper respect. And just over time, we become friends. And like I'll do what I can to help her whenever I can. If anyone asks about like female wrestlers, I always tell them Mickey Knuckles, Randy West, and Sage Sin, probably safest workers in America as far as death
Nice.
matches go. Like they're crazy too. So
Oh yeah.
and it
No.
all kind of works out a little bit. Sage is
Oh.
super busy, so
Oh yeah.
very happy for her.
Oh, most definitely. You know, you bring up one other person. Unless something happens, I'm actually supposed to be talking with her here in the next week or so. Randy West. I'm actually going to be talking with her for the show.
I was about to get nervous. I thought you were gonna say Mickey Knuckles. They're like, she's
Although
gonna hit on you.
I've talked with her about coming on, but it's been a while because the schedule that she keeps
Yeah, she's pretty
matching
busy
up
too.
matching up with when I'm able to record. Sometimes weekends for me can be a little tricky with figuring out, okay, do I got a
Yeah,
family thing
yeah,
here or what's gonna happen? So it it hasn't worked out yet there.
yeah. I totally get it. So, but
All
Randy West, like, she's one of my rocks in wrestling. Like, if I ever have like any kind of doubt, like, I go to her and Swartzy and just ask, like, "Hey, what do you think of this?" And they're like, "Stop being stupid."
right.
So, so yeah, like those two like are a combo pack to me. Like, you get
No,
one, you get both.
oh
Like, and
yeah.
they're invaluable in my career. Like they've helped me out quite a bit, like just health wise and like outside of wrestling and whatnot. So like I owe them an unpayable debt. I love them to death. They're the best.
Oh yeah. I've known a few people that have well, actually one in particular that's actually gone up against Randy West over at, I believe it was Mid Death Pro, but it's been a while. But I don't even think I've told him about having her on, so it's gonna be it's gonna be interesting when I actually get to tell him.
There you go.
All right, now this next category, some random questions. Some might be wrestling related, some might not be. I just give you the question, you give me the answer. I never really know which questions I'm going to
No
put.
worries.
I never know what I'm putting in here until I'm putting my notes together.
No, you're good, man. I always like a good challenge. Every interview is a challenge for me, so no
Hey,
worries. We got this.
oh yeah, we got this. All right. First question's one of the few that I like to keep in here as much as possible because I love hearing the stories behind it. Craziest in match moment for you?
Like what kind of subcategory are we going with? Like shocking, like dangerous, crazy, like
Shocking, dangerous, whatever first comes to mind.
mm, don't know. Like looking back and like thinking about it, like probably whenever I pull out a piece of glass like that I can visibly see and like seeing how deep it comes like out and like
Ooh.
hacks usually I'm like fuck and like as I pull them out I'm like oh man that's actually kind of deep, you know. When I faced I can't remember his fucking name. I fought him at a Midwest or Mid Death Pro. Can't remember what his name was. But we jumped off the stage. I grabbed him and just yanked him off with me, kind of a if I'm going down, you're coming with me kind of thing. Been doing
Ah,
that a lot lately. And we had bits of carpet strips out there, and like one went like way deep into my fucking forearm or elbow, some point, somewhere in this area. And like I pinned him 1, 2, 3, and I literally lifted my arm up, and I was just like, "Oh my god, oh my god." You know, and started pulling it out and like didn't realize how deep it really was. I was like, fuck, that's not a very smart idea. I should keep them together. Well, I
yeah,
guess we'll keep chopping them up.
yeah. Those can do some damage. That's for sure. Now, next one, I like to ask a lot of the deathmatch guys that I've had on this question. What is a weapon you would like to avoid being used in a match if you had the choice?
Cactus.
Cat
Never
that would
again. Fuck cactuses. I pulled 50, like 57 to 72 of them out of my fucking head after me and Dale Patrick's. Like, no, I'm good. Never again.
oof.
No.
E-
You know,
uh,
if I can't see it, it annoys me. So any cuts I get on my back and stuff, usually I can tell if it's a cut or a rash or a
yeah.
gash or whatnot. But like cactus needles, nah, I don't want to fuck with them ever again.
Oh
Nope.
God.
No, thank you.
Understandable.
I'd rather
Understandable.
get gorilla pressed on the skewers than
Yeah.
fucking cactus.
Yeah. I've heard there's been a handful of people that have actually said stuff like toothpicks. That's one that they would like to avoid.
Yeah, yeah, those are nasty too.
Yeah, because it was like some people have compared them to skewers, but it's like you get the skewers, those are a little significantly longer. The toothpicks, like you might luck out and get the whole thing, but then you
Hmm.
might not. You
Yeah,
break
the
off the
very
wrong
tip of it
piece.
might not. You
Yeah,
know?
you might break off the
Yeah.
wrong piece, and it's
Dude, I was in a match where it was a bed of nails match, and I looked at them and I'm like, who made it? Because I wanted to see this fucking thing before we went out. And fucking the spacing between the nails were like the width of my hand.
oh jeez.
Like, yeah, and they were only paired up by two, and I was like, how am I supposed to bump this? And I looked at the guy and I'm like, who put this together? He's like, my grandpa. And I'm like, you didn't buy enough nails, bro. You need like 100 boxes of nails to make a nail
I
board.
I
Oh, I
was
didn't know.
I was gonna say because the times that I've seen the beds of nails used in a match, it's like there is a shit ton of nails in that damn thing.
Yeah, there's usually like I want to say 250 to 500 nails.
I
Like
was
it's a
gonna
lot,
say
and it's sturdy. Like a
I
proper bed
was
of nails is super stiff.
I was gonna say, yeah. I any one that I've ever seen is like you can tell that thing's pretty solid.
The only places I've seen that have like a safe, sturdy one that I've used multiple times in different matches is H2O and Primos out in Slave of Death in Denver.
Mm, okay,
They
yeah.
they always they always got a stable thing of nails, and every few years they replace it. You get a whole brand new one. I'm like, oh wow, you guys are actually like on top of that. They love their beds and nails, I guess.
I guess so. Now, earlier we kind of talked a little bit about being into, horror movies, what would you say favorite movie, whether it be horror or, whatever it might be, whatever genre.
What favorite movie?
Yeah.
Oh, Jurassic Park.
Okay, I
It's
can't
easy.
argue with that.
So it was the first movie I saw without my mom, so it was like that first like glimpse of independence and stuff like that, and
Mm,
like just the whole thing just captivates you. You know, it takes you back to being a kid and stuff. Like, or for me, it
oh yeah,
does. You know, I'm nearly 40, so
I
like
I
that
am
takes me
40,
back.
so
Well, there you go. But
But
yeah,
yeah,
uh, like just that movie to me is perfect. I know it has its flaws and like logic reasons, but like I've read the book Jurassic Park. I've read the sequel to that. You know, I love Michael Crichton. He's the only like real author I'll read outside of like Shakespeare. Like those
God.
I find entertainment. Those I just get lost in.
Oh
So
yeah.
as weird as that sounds,
No,
but
hey, it
yeah,
makes perfect sense. I know I I have vivid memories of going to see Jurassic Park in the theaters in my hometown, and the it's literally a tiny three-screen theater, and the one that had Jurassic Park, they literally had that big, gate thing set up right in front of the
hmm
door. I'm like, oh, dude, this is awesome. And
so yeah,
bringing up the books. I know I haven't been able to find too many that kept my attention because
yeah.
it does take one for me to make it all the way through. To it needs to really catch my attention because then if not, I end up nodding off partway through and then I'll like forget where I was and then I'm like, okay, I'm done.
See, like that's why I like Michael Crichton's books because he times it out to where like if you got to stop, you can put a bookmark or whatever down and like just keep reading the next page that you were on and just continue where you were. Eventually, you'll remember the story of what's going on. Eventually, you know, so I can put it down. Like I got Terminal Man that I only read in airports because if I got time, I'm just gonna read. Might as well, you
Yeah.
know.
No, and that's definitely sign of a good author right there, being able to, have a series of books like that because he's definitely done a good job.
Yeah, I think he's got like 20 novels to his list. I've read over half of them. Like, yeah, he's a good solid writer. Like, I try to get into the novel, or not the novel, the like fantasy kind of stuff, like Dungeons and Dragons kind of stuff. I try getting into that and Warhammer, but just there's just so much going on. I don't want to start at zero with something, and it's like the middle of a universe. Like,
Yeah,
I don't want to spend that much time learning about it.
no,
you
I
know.
I can totally understand you there. Now, with this next question, I would feel weird if I did not have a question like this on here with a name of a show like Drinking at Moe's. Favorite drink, whether it be alcoholic or non, or one of each, because I've had plenty of people on that, for one reason or another, don't drink. So I try to be respectful of it.
Well, was it? I usually just drink Dr. Pepper.
That I can't argue there. My
Um, was if I'm actually having a like just a beer with someone, like I'll try any kind of beer. It's the hard liquors I stay away from. Like in Australia, I had a few beers while I was there, but it's literally like the first couple days I had a couple beers, and I was like, okay, I'm okay. I'm okay. I
yeah,
don't need another beer, and everyone was real respectful of it. Basically anyone I wanted to drink a beer with, I drank a beer with. You
yeah,
know, like when I went to Japan, one of the first places we went to, I think it was the second night I was there. Yeah, second night I was there, we went to Kowabashi's bar, and
ah,
of course I had a beer or two with him, and he had a snake vodka, and got to sign one of the boards and stuff. Like that was super
mm,
cool, But I didn't drink for the rest of the time I was there, so
okay.
you know,
No, that's cool. I know my my wife tends to tell me I have a Dr. Pepper problem. I tell her, well, only time I have a problem is if I don't have any.
yeah, exactly. Like there's a commercial or a meme where it's like 100-year-old, 102 old lady. They're like, "What's the secret to living so long?" She's like, "One drink of Dr. Pepper every day."
It, I've actually heard about stuff like that. I know I've had one person send me a meme where it was like a shit ton of Dr. Pepper seat belted, buckled in to the back of a car, and the whole back seat was just filled with Dr. Pepper and talking about only packing the essentials.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Yeah, I just
So,
found out that the gas station next to me uh don't sell 1 liter of Dr. Pepper no more. And I was like, well, lost my sale.
well, damn.
A lot of places are stopped carrying the 1 liters. I guess they're just not profiting off of them.
Hmm.
So I don't know.
I can see it. I don't tend to see too many of the 1 liters getting sold anymore. So
Saying I used to
of
buy
any
them all the time. Truck stops have them, and that's all I care about. We stop at truck stops if I'm driving anywhere.
oh yeah, no, truck stops would definitely be one place I think would still have them for sure.
Yeah.
Now, last but not least, what is the best advice you have for anybody wanting to get into wrestling?
Find a school that has like good credentials. Make sure it has like good trainers that are going to make sure that you learn what you need to know in the ring and outside the ring. Like one thing that I really wish I would have learned better over time was like how to actually manage, my merch and stuff like that to where I
Hmm.
could streamline them and kind of have a much better understanding than just put it in a mailbox and mail it kind of thing, you know.
Yeah.
Um like that's the hardest thing that I've always had trouble with. Like I gotta mail a friend of mine some stuff that I brought back from Australia and just keep forgetting about it. So
Yeah, I've
after this, I'm planning on boxing it up and making sure it's sealed up and whatnot. So it should be there by the time you release this.
you know what? Coincidentally, I've actually ran into kind of a similar situation with a couple shirts that a good friend of mine in California wanted me to get him and his wife from a show up here. And I'm like, I have them, but I keep on getting sidetracked on getting the damn thing sent out.
Saying, yeah, there's usually something to do. I'm usually getting called into work early in the morning, so it just slips sometimes, you know.
Oh yeah, most definitely. And my job recently got moved to almost about an hour away. And I by the time I get home, honestly, I don't really feel like leaving the house most of the time.
I get it. Saying this is my first like actual. I'm supposed to have 2 days off, but I got a feeling I'm gonna get called in tomorrow. Like we just have a lot of kids, and one of them has COVID right now, so they're trying to fill spots, and I'm just like, I don't care. But then I
Gotcha.
realized like I can't go in tomorrow. I have to go over to Alton, Illinois to watch Gary J versus Mosada Tanaka.
Ooh, that one's gonna be epic.
That one's gonna be fucking brutal. I can't wait. Like I don't care
No,
if I have to spend $100 Ubering there and back. I don't care. I have to go watch that.
oh
So
yeah.
I'm a huge Gary J fan, so I
I've
have to be
I've
there for my
actually
friend.
got to oh, I've actually got to talk with him for the show too.
Very cool. Super good guy.
Oh yeah, totally. That was a I've considered myself pretty lucky with some of the names that I've been able to have on. Like in a million years when I started this, would I have guessed that I would have had some of the names that I've had on when I've been watching them on like Fight TV and IWTV and like, holy shit, these guys are awesome. And then all of a sudden here I am talking to them. It's been wild.
Yeah, I've heard that a few times when people are like, "Oh, I can't believe I talked to Pondo." I'm like, "Yeah, Pondo's a very easy guy to talk to. It's very nice. It's just the schedule usually align, you know."
Yeah, that has been the thing with a lot of people is getting the schedules to align. But once you do and you get it
Hmm.
done, oh man, it's fun.
Like I can't remember when we scheduled this.
You know
Maybe a
what?
month or two ago.
You know what? I vaguely remember the day that we scheduled it because I remember messaging you, and then literally in the process of me about to type something else out, somebody sends me a message with a screenshot because it was the day that Bray Wyatt passed away.
Oh wow, yeah, that was about a month ago, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. I'm wanting to say it was about that, yeah, because I remember us talking a little bit about the crazy fact of Terry Funk, and then literally the next day Bray Wyatt, and it's just like,
Yeah, so it's wild that things like that happen sometimes. Like
yeah,
I don't think it's a sign of anything. The
yeah,
rule of three has been changed since 2020.
it's
Still,
definitely. But yeah, it was just crazy because Terry Funk, and then he had been having failing health, so it was like
yeah, like Terry
people,
Funk wasn't really surprising.
yeah, like,
Bray Wyatt was surprising.
definitely, because he was, I'm wanting to say, just a couple years, if maybe just a year younger than me, and then it was like, holy shit, like, just hearing about it, I'm like, it definitely spooked me a little bit. Somebody that close to my age just
Well,
suddenly passing
think
like that.
about
It
it,
was like,
dude. I don't know. You do a quick Google search, you can probably find out how many people your age die each year.
hell, this
I'm
year.
sure it's way higher than just one. You
Oh
know,
yeah, yeah.
but
I
I'm
guess
a
it.
logical dickhead like that. Like I think
No,
of the
no,
mass number of it. You know.
no. Most definitely, you think of, when you actually go and do the research on that. I'm very sure. I know. I guess it was, just the sheer fact of, the the stature of his name, and then it
Yeah,
it
like that,
coming
and he
with,
was like a pretty healthy guy for the most part, wasn't he?
yeah,
Like it
pretty,
just came out of the blue kind of thing. Like it's an alarming like passing. That's
yeah,
what I like to call them. It's just
yeah,
alarming because they're right around your age, and you're like, oh fuck, like that could have been me. You know,
yeah.
that self realization.
And then literally the earlier this year, with Jay Briscoe, he was literally like a
Yeah,
year younger than myself.
saying yeah, I think he's my age. Yeah, I think we share a couple months together, and then he becomes a little older than me.
Yeah, but that
Yeah,
that
that
was
was a little
wild.
shocking.
Yeah, because I remember that one catching me a little spooked, because very shortly, I think it was shortly before that, I had actually had a pretty bad car wreck myself coming home from work, and then just all of a sudden I get the green light, I wait a second, I get going, and all of a sudden out of the corner of my eye, boom, somebody sends me spinning like two or three times. The cops literally thought I was coming from the opposite direction that I was.
That's wild. So I've never been in anything like that, but like I've seen the damage that an incident like that has caused. Like it's not pretty sometimes.
Oh yeah,
I feel the shock of it.
oh yeah, definitely. Well, that is about all I have. But before we go, where can people find you social media wise? So if they don't already have their eyes on you, they can go ahead and get them there.
It should be NDCPOD or PODNDC on Instagram. It's one of those combinations. Um,
Gotcha.
Fearless Neil at X or Twitter, whatever they're calling it.
Yeah, whatever they're calling it now.
Yeah. And yeah, like I try to stay up on those as much as I can on
Yeah.
Facebook. Like I just kind of, yeah, I think you can see me, but I don't really add friends. I got like 900 requests, I think. So
It happens. It happens. But yeah, we will get
yeah, they
all of
build up after a while.
oh, I can only imagine. But yeah, we will get all of that in the description. This will be out after the big H2O weekend, but I want to wish you well on that weekend. Hope both shows have a pretty great turnout. And thank you again for taking the time to talk to me tonight.
Oh, no worries, man. Anytime you want to chat, I'm down.
Oh, you're welcome back anytime.